Hi everyone, I'm Huub Hildenbrand. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we have lesson 2 of our course on functional harmony and chord scales. So a linear approach to functional harmony. And today we will discuss the dominant. So let's get right into the endless ocean of music. Again, there's a PDF file down in the description below. You should download to follow this lesson. And we will talk, it's the second lesson. In the first we talked about the E minor, the minor tonic. We are in this first part of the course, we are purely in the E minor tonality. And now we are introducing the next most important function. And the next most important function is the dominant chord. And the dominant chord is on the 5th degree, and when you follow the lesson on tonal harmony of the framework 2, or framework 1, there you also know how important this degree is, and that this degree really wants to resolve back to the tonic, to the 1. So this movement of la, la, and when I end here, it feels resolved. And this is like a nature law which is already in the harmonic series. Okay, these are like the two main forces in this functional system. So the tonic has a function of resting, being home base. There the tune ends, the composition ends, and the dominant, which has the most tension, the most power, which directly wants to resolve back to the tonic, and then it really feels resolved. So that's a function of the dominant, to create tension, to move back to the tonic. And so this dominant chord has a root which has this tendency, the B going back to E, but also what we had also in the first lesson, the D sharp. The D sharp, so the dominant function chord normally should have a major third. And when a chord with a major third, when this dominant chord resolves a perfect fifths down, or what's the same, perfect fourths up, then this major third of the dominant goes up a half step to the root of the tonic chord. So this is the leading tone. You can also say the dominant chord is the best chord which to harmonize the leading tone, the major sevenths in the scale, if you want to harmonize a melody. Okay, so when I have this natural minor scale, it's also called natural minor scale, the Aeolian minor scale, the E minor Aeolian. When I have this scale, the only thing I do is to raise the 7th degree. The D becomes a D sharp, and then I have already the most standard, most important scale for the dominant and minor, which is called harmonic minor 5th mode, HM5. That's the strange name, but what can you do? So it's the scale goes then B, C, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, A, B. And really nicely resolves back to the tonic. You also see on this page, in the first line, you see the different arpeggios. Let me just briefly play these different arpeggios that you have an impression how they sound like. And it's always, at this stage now, we have to combine them with resolving it always back to the tonic. And on the tonic, we also had these different 4-part structures or 3-part structure E minor chord, which we can use as arpeggios. So I'll show you the B major triad. You can just to E minor back. And we can have the B and B major triad with an added C. We can resolve it to E minor with an added F sharp. Then we can just have the 7th chord, B7. We can resolve it very nicely to E minor with an added A. And we talked about this in the first lesson, so if you missed it, please check back. Then we have another triad, interesting triad. We have B7 actually without the F sharp. So A, B, D sharp, or you can also call this a double diminished triad, but we don't go into that now. Just these 3 notes form also as play this triad harmonic. It's also nice. And it gives a really clear, really nice way back to the tonic. And about these harmonic structures, especially the 3-part harmonic structures, we will have a lot of stuff coming up in future lessons. Okay. So we can have this, then we can have another triad is A diminished with an added B. It's also a very nice sound, outlining this tension, characteristic tension of the B dominant chord, which is also the tritone is there. And the tritone has a lot of tension, and is you can also say the tritone in a way is also a bit of like the essence of a dominant chord, because the tritone has a nice resolution back to the tonic. The 3rd goes up, the 3rd of B, of the dominant B goes up to the root, and the 7th, the A, D sharp A is a tritone, goes down to the 3rd, in this case the minor 3rd, E minor. Okay, but I think you all know that. So, and then we have also a B major triad with an added E. B with C, E minor with F sharp, and so on. These what's on these pages, these arpeggios, they are really well hand-picked, so to speak. They are really the criteria was really to only the time here. Only to have arpeggios which really make the chord very, very clear, or the function very clear. So that if you combine the different arpeggios, what I just did, you make this progression dominant tonic, very clear, just by playing these arpeggios. Okay, one very important thing, whenever you see a diminished triad or a diminished seventh chord, it's mostly a substitute for the dominant seventh chord. In classical music, you also speak, the German term is verkürzter Akkord. So like reduced chord, it means it is a dominant seventh chord, but it doesn't have the root. And if you have a dominant seventh chord, B, D sharp, F sharp, A, without the root, D sharp, F sharp, A is just a diminished triad. And when you add the flat 9 to the dominant seventh chord, and again you cancel, you erase the root, then you have D sharp, F sharp, A, and C, and that's a diminished seventh chord. So if you have a diminished seventh chord in classical music, it's mostly, not always, but it's mostly a substitute for the dominant chord. So when you have D sharp diminished, so this progression, D sharp diminished, it's very similar to B7, E minor. Okay, but I think you know that. That's something you should know. If not, please check out like a course on classical music, on these basic functions. This what we are doing here is it's more like advanced stuff, which deals with very simple basic theory, but we don't want to explain like this whole subject actually, which with subdominant, dominant, tonic, and so on, and these different things. I mean, it's like in this course it's more about a practical that we use this approach in our music in a practical way, and to make really music with that. And so also these arpeggios and scales, this is not so common to sing like a B major triad with an added C as an arpeggio for the dominant chord, or to always sing the whole scale. So this is actually also already the next layer, you can say, on this basic classical harmony, classical theory. So you should check that out if it's like necessary for you all. Yeah, I think you should actually. Okay. So sorry, that's I don't want to explain everything here on this Guitar Academia, because it's just so much stuff, and a lot of stuff is explained so many times in books and videos and lessons, and you can also take maybe some lessons from a teacher nearby, or you find enough explanations and material about that. So, but there are some things, maybe some perspectives I can suggest to you, which are maybe inspiring and new. Okay. There's one extra thing, actually, one extra scale, like an 8th note scale, which is not really true. It's like when you, as I said, if you have E Aeolian, E minor Aeolian, and you raise the 7th degree, you come to D sharp, which is a leading tone, to get this B HM5 scale. But you can also think you're not raising the D stays, you just add a D sharp. There you have to be careful, because now you have like a chromatic area. You have a D sharp and an E. So, and whenever you have the one note name, the D twice, in two versions, D sharp, then it's mostly chromatic, and then you should be really careful how to use it, because I'm not such a big fan of chromatic, but you can use this. You can use it actually very musical. This D and the D sharp together, and one very important thing to know is the D sharp wants to go up. The D sharp wants to go up to E again. Whereas, so the D sharp brings us to the tonic, to the E. Whereas the D has a tendency to move down. The D really likes to move down to the B, and on the way also playing the C. So D, C, B is like a very, very beautiful thing. So you really listen to that. So I play E, D sharp, and now for example, D, C, B, E, D sharp, E. And also what's also nice, what you sometimes can do, to play the D, and then just touching the D sharp. Or, another thing, instead of going from D sharp to E, you can go D sharp, and then C, D. It's also a very beautiful way. So you see, you have certain melodies which really work very good, and really, they're implied in the different forces of the different notes, and that's really very, 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 very true, and very, very much the same in Turkish and Indian, especially also in Indian raga music. There you have a lot of these kind of rules. Going from there to there is forbidden. Going from there to there, yeah, but just sometimes. And the main movement goes like this. And so I think it's the same in Western music, in Western harmony. When you have tonal music, I think it's really the same. But since mostly in our music we progress so quick through all those chords, we do not really take the time to listen, and it doesn't make sense. We don't have the time to listen to how the different notes wanna progress. It's like we are, in a way, we are thinking a bit different. So just thinking like what I'm doing here is a bit like weird. So from that perspective, you can say so, because this thinking also assumes that you stay on this sound, on this chord, a longer time. In the next lesson, I will give you I will not I will not discuss alter it here now. I will do that in the next lesson by introducing this scale to you in an Indian way. So I will just skip this sound. Oh yeah, there's also this Phrygian. This Phrygian sound is actually very, very often not considered too much when talking about the dominant. But it's actually in E minor or in minor tonality, this minor dominant, the Phrygian dominant, is also very nice sound. I'll show you. So we have E minor. And now I go to B Phrygian. From Bach to go to the dominant, or like B minor, drop 2, and then C, B, A, G to the minor third of E minor. So this Phrygian minor second gives you also this force, this tendency that it should resolve. So this Phrygian chord can also, Phrygian scale on this minor dominant can also function very nice for this purpose of the dominant tonic resolution. There are also some, this is in the second line, you find the Phrygian. It's also used, well, you see there's also this arpeggio, B minor with C, so. And you can also have a Phrygian sus chord, which is also very, very, very nice to have like a the 3-note arpeggio there, F sharp 4/4, means this B sus4 comes from stacking up fours, F sharp, and then a perfect fourth to B, and then another perfect fourth to E. Then you have B sus4. And if this sounds very strange to you, I understand you, but then you should check out these where we talk about these 19 different possible 3-part structures. And there we found certain names which are maybe more scientific names, because these structures, they can function in many different ways. So just to call them this structure B sus4 is not true in another situation. So F sharp, from F sharp to perfect fourth, that's the scientific basic origin of this chord, or the basic explanation. Okay, then you also have an F sharp with 3 perfect fourths stacked up. So, and this equals a B7 sus4 chord. So like that's not actually, that's really a sus4 chord, and I put this in the category there of Phrygian. It is not Phrygian. It has no Phrygian minor second, and it also has no minor third. But Phrygian is very much also used as a suspension of the dominant chord. So we play the E, and later on we resolve it to the D sharp, the third or the leading tone of the scale, to really have the complete dominant chord. So the sus chord very often goes then later on directly to this harmonic minor fifth mode, so HM5 scale. So for example, or this really Phrygian sus4, so sus4 flat 9 sound, which is really nice. It's built by stacking up fours, in this case augmented fours from C augmented fours to F sharp, then perfect fours to B, and another perfect fours to E. And we talked about these four-part structures. We talked when we talked about the 4-part structure, about the different all possible 4-part structures. So you can refer to that. Just check the playlist, and there you find 4-part structures. And in the first lesson, there's a kind of an overview also. Okay, and this sound, you can also say it's C Lydian sound, or a C major 7 flat 5. I don't like that term, but possible to see it that way. And this really nicely resolved to B7 and then to E minor. play a bit for you to show you, to give you an impression about the different sounds, the different arpeggios and scales, and how I use them in my music. But what I'm doing is actually just what I explain you now in this lesson and in the first lesson of the course. So everything is there for you on these PDFs and in these lessons. Okay, I'll play something and you listen. Okay, I hope you get this impression, and what I'm really doing is I'm thinking a lot like, of course, scales, but a lot is really thought is thinking is arpeggios. It's like these especially these 4-note arpeggios. To really think. Just E minor with F sharp. Oh. Then. So it was like B just with an added E, and then B just with an added C, and I play with it. It's a kind of an idea actually also you find in Johann Sebastian Bach's music, where you have a certain chord, and then you just play certain patterns, or you arpeggiate that chord. Maybe you have some passing tones there also, but more or less you just play them in kind of a pattern way, and just combine the different chords, or and staying with the same pattern, for example. Like for example, like so I play certain patterns, and then I change the structure, and then I also change maybe the pattern, or I go on to the next structure with that pattern. So this gives me also a kind of a flow and a kind of a path to follow and to tell a story in a way. Okay, that's it for that lesson. If you like these lessons here, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. There will be a video uploaded every Friday, and there's also a possibility to donate. Just click on the link down below in the description to go to my website and press the button donate. I would be really happy if you do so. And yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. My name is Huub Hildenbrand.